Okay, welcome, US Virgin Islands Chess. How's everybody doing? I think this is the 16th or 17th video here, brought to you by myself on the FIDE playlist. Okay, so here's another game between myself and our opponent from Serbia. And I don't think he had a FIDE rating yet, but this was a FIDE rated game. And my opponent played a very serious Sicilian defense here, guys. Let's get right into it. He played some very, very good moves. And as per usual, I had the black pieces on the server. And let's go over where your instructor had a winning position. And despite my opponent playing a very, very antiquated style of chess, my opponent played the best moves. So let's see now, e4, c5, knight f3, d6. Okay, so not knight c6 like we've been seeing so much old Sicilian. Now just Gary Kasparov's defense. d4, fighting for the center. C captures d, knight captures d. e5, anti-Burgov, Sveshnikov. Knight goes back to f3, probably the best move. Knight f6 for me now, knight b to d2. Now knight c6. You guys find a better move than knight c6 in this position? Okay, book move, yeah, bishop e7, get ready to castles. So knight c6 wasn't best, but that was what was played in the game. Bishop b5 now attacking, forcing bishop d7, short castles. And now white is more developed than black here. a6 attacking the light squared bishop, bishop a4, b5, and bishop to b3. So forcing the bishop back to b3, Bobby Fischer's bishop. See if he's going to go for Fischer's trap with knight to a5. Played knight to a5 with black in this game. c4 now, fighting for the queen side. Guys, without looking at the notation, find the best move for black in the position. Left, knight into b3 and a into b3 now, as we may or may not have predicted. B takes on c, b takes on c now, and bishop to e7. Okay, let's go over that exchange variation again. So going for the bishop. A into b, black to move, b into c now for a white, and bishop to e7. Okay, let's continue. So b3 was played now, finally getting the short castles in. But now white has a tempo in this position, and find the best move for white. What did white play in this position? What should white play? Well, rook to e1 was played only after bishop to a3. So bishop to a3, it's an engine move, recommended by the engine. Yep, bishop e2, bishop a3, so bishop a3 was best. And rook to h8. So let's stop here, guys. Rook to h8 now. We want to get that kingside rook onto g8 now and start fighting on the kingside, as the center has pretty much been consolidated thus far. The centi-pawn gain and the centi-pawn loss for both teams. But let's keep going now. Okay. So b3, b4, rook g8, as mentioned. Rook e1, perhaps. Maybe rook to c1 was a little more accurate. But okay, we say rook e1. And after g5, knight to f1 now, trying to get that knight to the g3 square. G4 now attacking the knight. And I spotted a tactic in this position, guys. Your instructor, move 19. Try to find the move that black played in this position without looking at the algebraic notation. Try to give you a couple of seconds. Okay, the move is knight captures on e4, and after we see rook recaptures, then bishop is winning on h4. And black is temporarily up a pawn. But in this position, you guys, I did not calculate queen to d6 now. And f6 was played now, obviously putting more coverage to e5 pawn. So anyway, this looks really good for white. And let's see how black continued. So I played f6 in this position. Your instructor, now rook to d1, swinging over, putting double protection. Bishop to f5 now, attacking the rook on e4. Queen captures d8, rook into d8, and now the rook that was attacked on e4 just goes back to e1. Okay, so this is a pretty decent position, guys. We see that black has bishop pair here. Some good moves recommended here by the engine, maybe bishop g5. White has the queen side pretty much won, so the fight is now on the king side. Let's continue. This was a very high-level game. So bishop to d3, playing some very serious moves now, going after c4. My opponent did not play c5, but cared more to play knight e3, guys. So knight e3 is a little better here, okay? Knight e3 now, looking to put pressure on maybe d5 or f5 square. Maybe eventually wanting to get the knight onto f5. Or knife f5 for my beginners. Okay, so f5 now, played by myself. Right? Surprise, surprise. C4, C5 was good, and now just attacking the knight. Ready to go all out on the king side. And now g3 may or may not have been a mistake by my opponent. Find the move that I played, guys, in this position after I give you everyone a couple of seconds. Find the best move for black. What did you find? Did you find g into f, or f into g rather? Okay, h into g, that's correct. Good job, guys. Bishop goes back to f6. Now, after the attack of the g3 pawn. Now my opponent played bishop to b2 now, putting more pressure on the e5 pawn. h5, and rook to d2. Rook to d2, now looking to double up maybe for a major attack here on the d file. And now bishop goes back to b5. That was the best move now, not allowing the progress of the b4 pawn. And in this position, my opponent captured on d1. Maybe it was a forced capture, not exactly sure. I haven't analyzed this position quite so much. After rook captures on d8 and now knight to f5, as we mentioned, guys, knight f5 coming in and looking to put some more tension here maybe on the queen side. But let's see what happened. Let's continue. So rook to d2, the best move in the position now, played by myself, guys, against my Serbian opponent. And rook to d2 was good now because obviously the bishop on b2 is attacked. Find the best move in the position for white, as the engine recommends. Yes, it's bishop to a1, guys, just going backwards and defending. And white is still hanging on here. But instead, my opponent played bishop captures on e5, which was a mistake. And can we figure out why this was a mistake, guys? Can we finish the exchange variation on our own time and look over the board now and see what happens? Yes, after bishop captures on e5, rook into e5. And now, if you guys spotted rook to d1, yes, that's the best move in the position. And that forces the king to go to g2 square. Okay, so something like, let's get into some analysis, guys. It's something like king to h2, then bishop is coming to c6, and there's no way to defend the rook to h1 mate. So again, the king can't move in this position, and then if pawn moves forward, then actually pawn captures is just winning. Okay, so let's take it back. That was not played in the game. Instead, we saw, yes, bishop to c6 check, and f3, and now, guys, find the winning move for black in this position after I give you a couple of seconds. Okay, so this was the move that was not played in the game, but was completely winning after g takes on f, and your instructor missed this, guys. King to f2. Let's look at the analysis now. This didn't happen in the game, but probably should have for a win. Okay, so the king now, after this rook check to d2, has to go to e1. And now just the fatal move now, guys, f2. And can we spot the tactic here? Do we see what's happening? Well, again, there's no check here, guys, because then just, well, the king is in check. So yes, okay, the only move is king captures, and now black is queening. Okay, so that was the, if you pause the video to find the winning variation there. Instead, guys, your instructor messed up and played the least recommended move, which was bishop f3 check, and now this is just drawing. This lets white back into the game. After a few moves here, rook b2, knight d4, now knight captures bishop, pawn captures, and then this is just a drawing endgame, guys. So, yeah, good effort, well played by both sides, and definitely wanted to show this game, guys, because it was a very serious game. My opponent played the best moves besides, I think, bishop takes what was it, bishop takes e6? Or bishop takes e5, yeah, I forget. But having said all that, guys, this was a nice game, and then the position was drawn, I think somewhere after, yeah, maybe rook g1 check, rook f2, or rook f4. Sorry, guys, rook g4, rook f5, sorry about that, and then just back and forth here. And then I think we called it even. And thank you guys for watching this video. Feel free to pause, go back, rewind, look at the move order. A very well played game by my opponent, and just missed the winning move, but having wished for the miss, a draw was good in this game, seeing as my opponent did play the best move. So thank you guys for watching, take care, and see everyone on the other side with more virtual analysis to come in the future. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye, take care.